Right now at STOP, we're obsessing over worms and compost. And I'm not even gonna do that thing where I tell you wonderful facts about worms so that you fall in love with them. However, they do have 5 hearts, so they have enough love for you. Worms eat on average half their body weight a day. Can you imagine me trying to eat that? Trying to slam down 100 burgers? I mean, they're not even just simple cheeseburgers. They've got like egg and like a nice chipotle mayo. It's a complex cheese bake. Worms produce compost, and not only does compost reduce greenhouse gases, but it also removes additional emissions from the atmosphere. If everyone in the US composted, it would be the equivalent to removing 7.8 million cars from the road. So I ended up speaking to Hannah Maloney, who is not a worm, although she does spend an awful lot of time in the dirt, and this bright pink house in Hobart. Hi Hannah, I've heard the word compost, and I know what people put in compost, but what is it?
It's a process of where carbon and nitrogen, air and water come together and they get all mixed up and they break down perfectly. Carbon is this dry brown stuff, often brown, but like straw, brown leaves, but it could be shredded office paper, cardboard. And nitrogen is the fresh, juicy stuff. So it could be food scrap, or it could be juicy lawn clippings or animal manures. And you layer them all together with a bit of water, a bit of air. And so compost, the finished product, is this beautiful brown looking soil stuff, which smells delicious. People often say, I don't want to compost, it stinks. I'm like, if that's not composting, because compost smells beautiful.
So it seems like worms can sort of consume what we would consider rubbish. And I think that's some kind of superhuman. But what they have a mouth, they eat what comes out the other end. And is it painful? You can put eggshells in compost, right? And that's is that I don't want to think about
The other end.
Passing one of those.
Great question. So if the smaller you're able to put your food scraps in there, including eggshells, the quicker the worms can digest them, eat them and process them. It doesn't hurt them at all because they only take what they can process. So they have little mouths, they have little bites. So the compost worms are great because they can help accelerate the process, but they also help transform it into a more fertile product for an edible garden. Compost worms are your best friends. Especially they can be fantastic in transforming your kitchen waste into garden gold.
In Australia, with our growing population, we produce around 50 million tonnes of waste a year, and around a third of that is food organics. It's estimated that half of the rubbish Australians put in the everyday mixed waste garbage bin could be put to better use in the garden as compost and mulch. So we've got all these things that we're essentially diverting from landfill, that might have ended up there that we're not, because we're putting them in our worm farms. Is that what you think is the biggest environmental benefit, or is there others that you think are more important?
The biggest thing for residential people is to compost all their food waste, or as much as they can, because currently it ends up into landfill. It's what I call the low-hanging fruit. If we can pull that out of our waste stream, we're actually turning a massive problem, which contributes to climate change, into a massive solution. That's in our power. When we look at climate change, so much feels overwhelming and out of our control. Food scraps are 100% in our control.
Does even just thinking about this sort of stuff, does it make you happy? You're so passionate. I love it.
Yeah. It's actually what I call sanctuary thinking. And so I have my sanctuary thinking and my sanctuary doing with so head, heart and hands. I love to hang out with solution-orientated space. And we don't just want to get anxious around climate change, we want to get active. And some of these things can start in your kitchen, your garden, in your community, and you just crack on and just do it.
I really appreciate you talking to us. It's been a wonderful time and I've learned a lot.
I'm always available to talk about compost, poo and garden.
Thank you so much, Hannah. All right, so what are we doing? See if you can get a worm farm. If you can't, there are still ways to compost without using worms. And remember, you can contact your local council to get help with your compost bins. And if you do get a worm farm, show them off. Time-lapse them. Show us how they move or play. Play? I don't think worms play. And if you don't have a backyard, let us know what you did in your kitchen or balcony by using the hashtag STOP2030 or worm farm. If anyone needs me, I'll just be sitting here and trying to come up with names for my worms because, boy, they reproduce fast. You ever tried to think of hundreds of names? Anyway.